as I stated before, welcome on in. We ready to go. And let's get right off into the situation. Let's get to this Myles Garrett situation. Let's get to it. I think one of the things that we need to take a look at is, Myles Garrett has been basically, going around and doing this press tour and really doing a lot. And people have kind of come out and started to talk about this a little bit. When you talk about what Myles Garrett has been able to do as a Cleveland Brown, he's been able to be one of the best Cleveland Browns in the history of the organization. And I think every time that you come out and you talk about you want to be traded, you are not immune to any backlash. You're not immune to any scrutiny. I think over the long period of time, I could go back and look at a lot of different people, and I could look at a situation where Myles Garrett is no different from people like Michael Strahan, who played for the Cowboys, who wanted a long holdout at the end of his career. You could go back through the list of the people like Kobe Bryant, who requested a trade. You could go back to a long list of individuals who were the face of their franchises and requested trades, and it got bad. So I get it. Myles Garrett requested a trade. He went on a Radio Row situation, and he talked about how he wanted to be moved. And to everybody's surprise, Myles Garrett, what Myles Garrett was able to do is he was able to be like, you know what? They gave me $40 million guaranteed. You know what? Looks like I don't really have any places I could go really that could really get me to where I want to go in a fast track in terms of teams that are very good or teams that have playoff chances that A, have the money to give me the extension that I've always wanted, B, put me in a position to fast track me winning, and C, have the capital and the assets to give to the Cleveland Browns in order to have a swap in terms of what the capital for. So Myles Garrett signs back, and obviously there's going to be a little bit pushback from fans. There's going to be some pushback from many individuals. And like I said before, any single time that you have an individual, you got a situation where you got a problem and a guy asks for a trade, some fans are going to be upset. So that's one of the parts. But let me get to this situation. You got Jason Lloyd, right? And then I worked with Jason Lloyd, and Jason Lloyd came up with an article, and it talked a little bit about the plight of Myles Garrett. It talked about a little bit of what's going on, and I want to go over this article and kind of give you my 2 cents and my thoughts in terms of the article and what this means for the Browns and Myles Garrett moving forward. So it says NFL rumors, Myles Garrett frequently late and breaking rules with the Browns. Even though Myles Garrett has been a dominant force in the game for the Cleveland Browns, he's apparently not punctual, nor does he set a good example for the rest of the team. Per the Athletic Jason Lloyd, Garrett is frequently late to team facilities and is breaking the rules by skipping mandatory team activities on multiple occasions. Even though there's never been anything substantial reported about Garrett's apparent knack of tardiness, Lloyd called it well known within the Browns organization. Garrett has skipped organized team activities during the offseason multiple times in his career, including 2023 and 2024. But that's a voluntary part of the offseason calendar. It's uncommon for established veterans to sit out OTAs. Let's continue with this article. In the article, Jason Lloyd goes on to say it's a fair point. It's fair to point out that Lloyd has gone in on Garrett in the past. He was critical of him for skipping OTAs in 2023 because the Browns were running a new defensive scheme after they hired Jim Schwartz as a defensive coordinator. If you want to be a leader on the team, if you're a franchise pillar, you need to be at this. And it's a new defensive coordinator. It's a new scheme. There's a lot at stake this year. There's a lot of jobs at stake. The future of your career is at stake. Because this thing goes sideways, who knows where it goes? This is literally an important season and really important off season. And if you want to carry yourself as a pillar of a franchise, as a leader of the franchise, set the tone. Nick Chubb, whose reputation around in the NFL is about as high as you could, as any individual players could be, also wasn't in attendance at the Browns OTA in 2023. Skipping OTAs didn't seem to impact Garrett or the Browns defense that much in 2023, He became the first player in franchise history to win Defensive Player of the Year, and the Browns made the playoffs at 11-16. Now, if you know me, I was very vocal during this situation, and before the situation, and actually, me and Jason were on the same show, and I talked about how I felt about it. You know, for me, me playing the position and understanding what a defensive end does, and understanding what your job is as a defensive end, and getting around to doing what you need to be doing. To me, this was ridiculous, because my point of contention was, if you're going to make it like guys need to be showing up and guys need to be doing X, Y, and Z, during that same offseason, Joe Bitonio didn't go to OTAs. That same offseason, Nick Chubb didn't go to OTAs. And it seemed to be a Myles Garrett thing where Myles needed to be there to be an example. Let me just give you this, by this is how I get down. I don't need nobody to be example for nothing. I done worked with some great people. I might name drop. I may throw these out there. And by no stretch of imagination is what I'm going to say trying to make myself look larger or bigger or play a victim or whatever the case may be. I'm just giving you an example of why I think the way I think. No other man should be an example to another man who has a family to feed. I mean, repeat, if you are above age, you are 23, 24, 25, 26, you're old enough to go fight for your country. At no point in time in your career should you be watching other people and dictating your success based on what other people will do or won't do. Give you a perfect example. I work with Jay Crawford. I work with Adam the Bull. I work with Dustin Fox. I work with everybody in from Ken Carman to Anthony Lima to Jonathan Peterlin to from back in the day, the BSK, Les Levine. I done work with everybody in the industry, right? And I'm not name dropping, but ain't nothing they can tell me and nothing that they can inspire me to do that I don't want for myself or that I don't want for my own family. I get up every single day and the grind is on you. That grind is with it. Either you got it or you don't. And a lot of times we get these cliches where it's like, oh, be a leader, show people how to do it. Man, listen, if you can't get on the other end of Myles Garrett and get you some sacks because he's getting triple team, that's on you, brother. The league stands for not for long. And those who want to be motivated and those who have to be motivated won't be motivated very often and very long because they'll be at the crib. I need to be behind Myles. Nah, bro. Nah, I need to figure out how I need to get some sacks. And for me, this has always been one of the things and one of the loaded questions when it comes to people and when it comes to people as they talk about certain things of leadership. I always find it funny that leadership is used for great teams, right? Leadership is used for those teams that win. If you win, automatically you got leaders. If you win, you automatically got the great locker room. You don't think there ain't never been no teams that won that had bad leadership and bad locker rooms? And as I'm sitting here telling you this, I'm not sitting here and people say, oh, you're carrying water for Myles Garrett. I'm just being a realist about the situation. I'm just being real. Everybody, everywhere you go in the organization, you're going to have people who do their own thing that's going to go to the beat of their drum. And you better figure out how you fit and how you going to pay your bills. Good luck going home telling your people, hey, honey, I came home and I got cut. Why'd you get cut? And, well, I didn't make any plays today. Why didn't you make no plays? Well, Myles wasn't here at OTAs. I just was lost. I didn't have the motivation to go run after and hustle. And I didn't have the motivation to lift weights because Myles wasn't there. You know, that's my only reason I do this is because I need to stop it. Now, G. Bush, this is the outlandish. When you're a bad team, you look to find things to blame on why you were a bad team. I don't think it's leadership. I call it you ain't got a quarterback. I don't think it's leadership. I think your offense was trash. I don't call it leadership. I don't think you can tackle very well. That ain't got nothing. That's the thing I hate. Stop putting it on these big grand ideas and painting broad strokes when you can get down to the brass tacks of it. Let's continue on. In this article, the Browns seem to have no concern about Garrett's character or ability to impact games moving forward. They gave him the highest paid non-quarterback contract in history by giving him 4 years, $160 million extension for a full no trade clause at the end of to end any trade speculation. Garrett has been named to an all-pro team in each of the past 5 seasons, including 4 first-team selections during the span. He has 102 and a half sacks since the rookie year in 2017, are the second highest in the NFL behind only TJ Watt. There are no questions the Browns have a lot of work to do if they want to be regarded as a top-tier team in the AFC, but Garrett's track record of elite performance suggests one of the few players that they do have to worry about. It is possible that things could change, especially as Garrett continues to age. But he gave them a commitment by signing a new deal that indicates he is dedicated to making the Browns as successful as they possibly can. So you take a look at that situation, and when you look at it, and listen, it's fair criticism if you want to criticize Myles Garrett for, and me and Earl talked about Earl the Pro, shout out to him. We talked about it. He said, listen, if you want to be known as a leader and you want to say you are a leader and Myles has said he's a leader, then you got to do all the little stuff. I get that stuff. But the weird energy around the contract acting as if, oh, well, since he said he wanted to be traded, I think we should have went out and traded him and got what we could for him. Oh, we should have traded him because we could get some picks for him and do. Man, listen, ain't nobody in this organization or this fan base trying to do that. All this 1-31 stuff and resetting and getting all these picks and all that. If you look at the market, people was already talking about on the market, you wasn't getting no 1s and 2s. You was going to get some maybe one late first round pick, some other day 2 stuff, maybe a second round pick or whatever the case is. But the Cleveland Browns are better with Myles Garrett than they are without Myles Garrett, and that's unequivocal. We've always talked about it. The Cleveland Browns have always been better with Myles Garrett on the team. So, yeah, you wanted to trade. That's what he felt at the time. I ain't got no time for it. I don't got no time to be sitting around talking about, well, I feel a certain type way because he asked for a trade. That's part of the game, fellas. Boys and girls, it's part of the game. People want more money. People want the new bag. People is going to move and maneuver and do what they need to do. This is nothing new in sports. It just happens in Cleveland. We just happen to not have good enough people to actually be messing around to actually sign these guys. So for me, I look at it like this in terms of when we talk about leadership all the time. I talk to Leroy Horde. Shout out to Leroy, man. He tells me stories. One of the best stories. If you want, go check it up on UCSS. He talks about it all the time. He played in New York. He played with Bill Parcells. Also played with Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor, one of the greatest players ever to put the cleats on. He's probably 1 or 2 with Reggie White, greatest players of all time, according to defensive players. He tells a great story about how during training camp, Lawrence Taylor used to just take certain days off and go golf. And he asked Leroy one day, you want to come over here? Let's go golf. Lawrence was like, what you talking about, man? Bill, I can't do that. Man, we got to practice. He said, man, come, don't worry about it, I'll handle it. He says, all right, come on, let's go. So they go golfing. They get back to the facilities. And Bill Parcells says, how was that doctor's appointment? LT says, you had that doctor's appointment. I said, he was like, yeah, sure do. Yeah, it was great. Couldn't to find out when you go back and listen to Belichick and you listen to Bill Parcells and they talk about Lawrence Taylor, you know what they said? They confirmed, yeah, Lawrence Taylor, we should do a lot of stuff. Lawrence Taylor wasn't coming to, he infamously would never come to walkthroughs because he said, what I need to walk through for. I already know the plays and I already know what I'm supposed to do. Get the quarterback. When you look at that and you take a look at that, that's one of the greatest of all times. And then here's what we're going to do. We're going to get to your chats. There's a lot of people in here. We're going to get to your chat. 800 people in here. Make sure you hit the like button. We got to get them numbers back up. You know, the algorithm like, oh my gosh, he had downtime for 36 seconds. Make sure you hit the like button so we can get that back up. But anyway, before we get to that, I got just a quick one. And when you rebuttal this, and when we're going to talk about leaderships, the question I want to throw out to you guys is, does this surprise you? And does this make a huge difference when it comes to things like leadership? My thing is this. I don't believe, and this is just me, I believe the quarterback is the leader. I don't believe, I play defensive end. I don't believe that a defensive end can affect the game in a way that he is the true leader of the defense. Unless you are a transcendent defensive player like a Mike Singletary or a Ray Lewis or maybe even an Ed Reed, I don't believe that defensive ends are default going to be the face of your organization. I think the default captain, that's why every quarterback got to see, even though they ain't that no good, they may be a bridge, a journeyman, a rookie. If they starting 9 times out of 10, they got the captain on, because that's who people look at. That's the face of the franchise. And at the time, that's the guy that affects the most football plays at that time. So I'll give you one more case. And listen, the way we debate over here is this. I'm bringing you the case. Now, if you just say, G. Bush, you're wrong for this, and why, we could debate that. But if you just be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, you're a clown. No, call me the Big Circus. That's the name. I told Jason this, and I told Jay Crawford when we were on the show, UCSS. I said, listen, how is it? I'm confused by this. How is it that this is documented? How is it that Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson, known as probably the greatest player and greatest coach in the history of basketball, besides probably Kareem and Red Auerbach or Kareem and some of these other people, how is it that they can tell Dennis Rodman came to a meeting in the middle of the season, hey, I need you to go out and hang out in Vegas. You can hang out, just blow some steam off, mess with some hookers, go to the strip club. I don't know what kind, I don't know what, if he would, I'm not allegedly just out there partying it up. Party so long, Michael Jordan had to go to Vegas himself to get this man and bring him back because he was partying for too long, for weeks. How is it that you are known as the greatest winner, one of the greatest leaders, never did any, like, I don't understand how that's possible. But yet and still, we could pick and choose guys that we want to go to OTAs. When I heard that, I said, oh, all bets are off for me. Don't none of that count. In the year that Myles Garrett didn't go to training camp or OTAs, look, the Browns defense was one of the best in the league, went to the playoffs. If you are performing on the field, and you are getting it done, you get a little more leeway. Is that automatically what we're supposed to do? No. Is it the greatest way to go about running an organization? No. Could everybody in organization slack off and get that off? No. But at the end of the day, it's talent. Talent rules the day. Let me see what y'all talking about over here. Let's get popping. Get it popping. Get to these chats. Let's see. Let me get my banners down. Let's get this. Here we go. Let's see. Let's get to these winning comments. Let's get to the winning comments. Pigskin Paulie, what's up, my man? When you are losing on a losing team, of course you're supposed to play for your own personal stats. It elevates you and the team as best it can. Let's see. People act like the concessions aren't made for big time players in all the sports. As long as you plays like he's been, that's all that matters. O-line was trash. All the excuses for Batonio and Teller both was the reason the way Browns had no run game. I agree with that. Mel L says, I'm not a fan of berries. And nor is the fact that Haslam is behind these contracts. Here's what I will say too, though. I don't understand what you wanted Jimmy Haslam to do. I think, and this annoys me a little bit too. Every single time that we talk about anything going wrong for the Browns, it's a default Jimmy Haslam conversation. Now, has Jimmy done some bad stuff? Has Jimmy done some incompetent stuff? Sure. But y'all can't have it both ways. You said Jimmy Haslam was incompetent because he was going to lose Myles Garrett, a generational player, right? That's what you said at first. Then when he says, all right, well, I'm going to hold pat. I'm going to stay the road. I'm going to stay the course, right? You said, oh, well, look, you're gonna mess up the game. You messing up the trade value. You doing it, but then he signs him back, gets him back, gives him the contract, $40 million, right? And then you say he's throwing bad money away. He's always throwing money at the situation. Money doesn't make everything better. And I'm sitting here telling you, like, what do you guys want? Do you either not want Myles? Did you not want Jimmy Haslam to bring back, or did you? Obviously, the Browns are a better team with Myles Garrett. And I thought he did what he was supposed to. We talk about Jimmy overreaching. Did he overreach? No. He told Myles Garrett straight up, now go talk to AB. So what is it? We got to pick sometimes. And I think sometimes we get to a point where it's like we want to get to a situation where it's all right, well, we don't know. We don't have a reason why we are bad. Just put it on the owner and blanket. Just blanket statement. Let's see. Raw Dog says, I can admit that he takes plays off and could get more sacks if he hustled, but he can't hit that switch. I just wish he hit that more often. I'll say this. I'll say this, Raw Dogs. My problem is this, right? Who is better than Myles Garrett on the Cleveland Browns? Nobody. Until you get to a level that you're producing at that level, you gotta be quiet. I'm gonna just be honest. Like, until you get, like, it's a lot of people talking. Joe Batonio and Wyatt Teller and a lot of offensive linemen do a lot of talking. But let's be clear. Y'all was not balling last year. Let me be clear. You were not balling. You played better at the end of the year, but don't make me pull these PFF grades up. Y'all had cats walking in the backfield all last year. Nick Chubb, Nick Chubb, you know, he ain't what he was. No, Joe Batonio is not what he was. Wyatt Teller was not what he was. So if we want to get to this, we want to have conversations about not doing nothing, let's have them conversations when y'all was turning around and getting beat up on pass rushes. Until you get to the level that you're an all-pro every year and whatever, you shouldn't, that's like, until I get to a point, I don't got nothing to say about Stephen A. I ain't making the money they make. Why am I going to talk about you every single day? I need to be worried about what I'm doing right here. Come on now. Let's not act like the Cleveland Browns have any room. Myles Garrett did his thing last year. Myles Garrett played injured. Myles Garrett got his sacks. I don't think Kevin Stefanski did. I don't think Andrew Berry's picks planned out. And I don't think the offensive line and the offense look good. So we can point fingers all we want. But we got to get to it. Let's keep going. What up, Rob? Considering the Browns' current roster, I was fine with trading him and freeing up some money, replenishing some draft picks to build the right way if possible. Here's the thing. Problem you got is this. It's hard as hell to draft. It's hard as hell to predict. It's hard as hell to develop. It's hard as hell to market. When you give up something like a franchise quarterback or franchise Hall of Fame player, you must replace that person. In the Cleveland Browns today, as we get to our other topics, the Cleveland Browns, as we reach to our other situations, they are better and are in a better position to be competitive because you don't have to replace a hole like Myles Garrett. Now, if you want Abdul Carter, guess what? You got Abdul Carter. And if you want Travis Hunter and you like him on defensive offense, all those picks besides quarterback make you feel a lot better about your life, right? Because now it's not no addition by subtraction. It's now whoever I put on that opposite end is getting singled. Now, every offensive team that comes to the Browns or plays the Cleveland Browns, that guy 95 is over there. You better game plan for him. So that makes it easier for everybody up and down the line. So yes, can I get some picks? But I don't trust Andrew Berry with them picks. You know I don't. We got a super chat. Mac Dog, we appreciate it. Hey, G. Bush, do you agree with Jason's article about the Browns should have traded Myles Garrett? And would you trade a late pick and Newsome for Ayuk? Yes, I would trade Newsome and a late pick for Ayuk. That gives me Jerry Jeudy. That gives me Ayuk. He's coming off injury. And at that point, if they want to give me a quarterback, which we will talk about these quarterbacks coming up, keep tight. Kenny Pickett's coming up. Russell Wilson's coming up. Still might draft Travis Hunter. But let me get to the first part. Do you agree with Jason's article about the Browns should have traded? No, under no circumstances. People call me emotional a little bit. And I am. I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to work on my emotional parts. I am the Duke and knee-jerk. I called myself that. But let me be clear. Just because Myles Garrett said he wanted to be traded, I don't care about that. I'm very pragmatic about it. My feelings aren't hurt. Just because Myles Garrett came out and said, you know what, I don't want to be in Cleveland. I want a team that wants to win. I want to go to a team that has a different plan. That sounds great. But guess what? I'm like Andrew Berry in this case. I'm not moved by that. I want my 14 and 16 sacks. I mean, I've seen people be mad and want to come back and they sign that contract. I've seen it happen to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was under contract dispute. They look like, this is DaCosta. This is not going to play out well. His mom wants to be his agent. No. We're not going to play that. Not going to play that. Here's what we are going to do. We're going to say, okay, Myles, we'll negotiate, and it's all business. It is what it is. And I want you to refute it. Show me. If you don't agree with what I'm talking about, put it in the chat, put it in the comment section. I'm going to show you how people contradict themselves. And thank you, Mac Dog, for bringing this up. The media is the most contradictory body of individuals in the world. We pivot and move based on what we want to, how we want to prove something or prove a point. If you're telling me leadership is so important, you're better off not doing it, you might as well go ahead and just let them go because we don't want no distractions and all that good stuff, right? Well, let me ask you a question. The person that did it the best is Nick Chubb, the person that always showed up to treatment, always was in the community, never rocked the boat, never blamed nobody else, never said nobody nothing at all. Always told you, I want to retire here. I love it here. This is what I'm about. I'm a Cleveland Brown through and through. He's the perfect example of what you want a teammate to be. But when it came down to the get down, they couldn't offer Nick Chubb $2 to $3 million. Go see on the market to see if you get that. They didn't even give him the respect to give him $4 million, whatever the case may be. Didn't even respect him. Fan favorite. Great locker room guy. You know what everybody stands on when people say that? It's just business. It's just no hard feelings. It's business, you know, the injury and just business. No personal. Well, you shut your mouth when you want to talk about business, but when it comes to other people, you got an opinion because Myles Garrett don't show up. Well, we can't have these little distractions. Really? If you was all about that Boy Scout mentality, Nick Chubb will be on this roster right now. Refute it. So it is not about whether or not you're a good soldier or not. It's all about how they want to move with it. Do I like the guy? Do I not? Do I like the move he made? Myles Garrett, they're always going to keep people that got all of the talent that can make you better. They always going to keep them. They only hide behind whether or not you're a good locker room guy is when it benefits them. Because 9 times out of 10, the good guys that ain't playing well no more, guess what they had on the street? They'll keep 9, 10 bad guys that's playing well. Just remember that. I just keep it real with it. 1,081 people in here. We salute you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Let's turn the page a little bit. And we'll come back to get some of your comments as well. Don't forget, Super Chat is available, just like my man hit me up. CG Bush, this is why I can't be on, you can't be on the radio. Keep spitting the real, G. This is the reason why. I just got to keep it a buck. And I'm willing to take the debate with somebody who's debating it. Oh, yeah, just, Myles. Jordan's the greatest in the world. We could send people during a playoff. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Donovan Mitchell was like, hey, Evan Mobley needs to blow off some steam. I'm going to send him to Las Vegas for a week. Don't play, say he injured or something, and then Evan Mobley stays in Vegas for a whole week during a 55-10 run, and you trying to do something great. And it comes out that Donovan Mitchell and Kenny Atkinson was like, yeah, hey, Mobes, man, we got you. Don't even worry about that. These guys be acting crazy, man. Come on, man. Babe Ruth was smoking a pack of cigars every week, hitting 90 home runs, eating corned beef sandwiches. Hey, man, I just playing. I'm just sorry. Bear with me. I'll get to the second part. I'm gonna have to reload these, so bear with me. We're gonna get to the Cavs, but I gotta reload some of my files that kind of messed up a little bit. They messed me up a little bit earlier. I want to get to a couple things.
You guys were putting this game away pretty.
Nope, you act like you didn't see that. All right, don't act like you didn't see that. Let me get my other clip ready. Yeah, this is gonna be a good one.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, yep. So let me remove that. So let's get to the team we always should have been talking about. Cleveland Cavaliers, man. I'm going to tell you what. Cleveland Cavaliers are already trending to an all-time great team. And I'm going to apologize. I've been all in on the Cavs, but I have not done a good job enough of explaining why we all tripping. And why we say we in on the Cavs, but it's time that we start putting our hearts and our energy and our money and our respect and our admiration behind the Cavs. I'm trying to start a movement where the Cavs get the Browns love. All of the extra love and attention and extra baked cookies and all of the conversations where we argue about franchise quarterbacks and that love should be going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They should be the number one team in town. Period. If you're thinking about getting some season tickets, if you're thinking about going to something, if you're saving for a concert, you want to get some Guardians gear, you should save all of your money and give that on a platter to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I'm going to explain why. They follow all the tenets that we want. They check every single box. I watched that game last night against the Memphis Grizzlies, and on UCSS, I told them, I said, listen, man, this is a tough one. I think Kenny Atkinson is doing this thing on purpose. Kenny is doing this thing on purpose, man. Donovan Mitchell has been out the last couple of games, And I'm thinking, okay, now Memphis is a 2 seed almost in the West. They're fighting. They're a virtual tie between the 2 seed and the 4 seed. They tied with the Nuggets. They tied with the Lakers, and they needed that win. You're going into Memphis, a tough place to play. Ja Morant is playing. Jared Jackson is playing. All they ready to go, and you're without Donovan Mitchell. And let me tell you something. These dudes came out there and waxed the Memphis Grizzlies. Was not close. Wasn't close. That little score at the end, they was down 25-30 the whole game. And the reason that the Cavs is different is because even the bench dudes is smoking people now. When your bench and roll guys come out and you don't got Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland used that as a homecoming, he used that. Listen, this dude, Darius Garland, they went out to Memphis early. He from, 3-time player of the year in Tennessee, Vanderbilt alum. He didn't play that many games because he was injured, right? You know what I'm saying? He said, I didn't give Tennessee, I didn't give Rocky Top enough. I need to bring my whole team down. You know how you came from college and you bring your people down? You're bringing roommates home. Hey, I want you to come to my high school game on that Friday night. Come to the club with me. Let me show you how to do it in my city. This dude had them dudes down there for a whole week early playing flag football at Vanderbilt. Out there just playing around. I'm like, dang, can you let these dudes play basketball, football, tap? I'm like, somebody about to get hurt. Donovan Mitchell ain't even playing. And Darius came out there laughing at these fools. I'm telling you, I'm on Darius. I'm on Darius. I'm on his. I be on him a lot. I'm on him a lot because I know you got it. I know you got it there. You just got to play like that all the time. And that's what Kenny doing. Kenny telling him, listen, listen, go ahead. He got it. I want to see this. I want to see this work. Remember last year against the Celtics when you was hurt? And we can't see that Darius no more. Let's cook. I need him to cook while you ain't out here. Darius is always hitting when I said, bro, if Darius Garland is not looking at that fan on the right baseline after he hit that 3, I know he ain't ready to play. You got to have your celebrations early, Darius. Evan Mobley. See, when the unicorn gets going, the highest evolutionary state of what Evan Mobley is supposed to be doing. Never mind. Don't take him for my word. Don't listen to him for my word. Let's go ahead and listen to Serena Williams. Let's ask what you're thinking about this.
Much from the start of the second quarter. Were you guys sick of comebacks?
Yeah. We try to come out here, come with energy, and play together like we always do. And we're knocking down shots today and playing pretty good defense. And that's what made us come out with the win.
More franchise records set tonight. Let's start with the first one. 16 straight now. Look, how do you just explain the historic streak that you guys are on?
I think it's just a testament how we're playing together. Everyone's involved. We're just going out there playing our brand of basketball, not worried about the records necessarily, and it's just coming out this way.
I know you're not worried about the records, but we happen to know them, so you've got another one. 11 straight road wins. That's also a franchise record. Hey, it's one thing to be a great team at home, but to be a very solid team on the road, what's the key to that?
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things in the league is to travel and to play the same way in a different crowd, different arena. And I feel like we've been doing that pretty well. I feel like the team energy, we bring that camaraderie and that team aspect to the game. And I feel like that's the biggest aspect of why we're winning.
Yeah, I mean, you look at tonight's game as an example, 7 players in double-digit scoring. What does that say about how really everybody on this team's contributing every night?
It's just depth. We trust everyone. Every single time we pass the ball, we think it's going in, and we just got to keep playing that way.
Evan, you perform, it seems like, every time you played the Grizzlies. Hey, when you think about your first game in the league, here in Memphis and you as a player then, and to see how much you've grown today, what comes to mind?
Yeah, it's honestly surreal. It's crazy. It's my first game ever in this arena, and it was a treat. It's always a treat to come back and play in here. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I like playing against Memphis.
Let's keep it rolling, huh?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, you, Kaylee.
Serena, thank you. Well, there it is. 16 straight victories for the Cavaliers. That now sets.
Now the crazy part is Evan Mobley. In that game, if you was watching that game, they couldn't even have Edey on them. Zach Edey, they couldn't even have a big fella came out there. And the highest evolutionary state of what Evan Mobley is doing is when he has to decide what and to decipher what it is and how he wants to deliver his offensive package is going to be the biggest evolutionary step, because when he played Zach Edey, the big fella was lumbering around on the perimeter, and you know what Evan Mobley said? You can't guard me off the dribble. And a matter of fact, you're too slow to close out on this three. Knock it down. Up. Let me rock you to sleep. Let me rock you to sleep like I'm Mike. Oh, I'm going to step back a little bit. I said, when did you get the step back, Evan Mobley? When did you get the step back? He's out there. You see it, 3 of 6. One of the threes they took away. It was 4. His foot was on the line, but shooting it with confidence. But at the same time, when he realizes he has a small on him, when the switch comes from a pick and roll and he understands that he has a small guy on him, he's demanding the basketball down low, demanding the ball and wanting to get the ball and finishing over people. The level of confidence, even the way he's talking right now, the way he Evan Mobley was a mute the first 2 years. No, he had all captions under his name, all subtitles. Now he's feeling good about himself. He's feeling confident about himself. And by the way, the defense then kicked back up again. Defensive player of the year type efforts. Now let's take a look at this. You know, the Cavs in this screen, longest winning streaks this season. They got a 16-game winning streak right now. They already had a 15-game winning streak, and they've had a 12-game winning streak. This is why historically the Cavs are in a position to be one of the best regular season teams of all time. And that's just not hyperbole. I'm not the Duke and knee-jerk for no reason. I'm just telling you, that's where we're at. But what really makes the Cavs dynamic is the way that the bench guys actually feel that they are him. Steph Jerome, he feels like he's Steph Curry, bro. These floaters, he comes in and he thinks he's supposed to be that guy. DeAndre Hunter comes in like an assassin. He is the meanest dude. DeAndre Hunter, game face so mean. It looked like he turned kids away at trick or treat. It looked like when they say, do you want to, at the end when you're using your debit card, they'd be like, do you want to donate 50 cents to the kids for charity? No. Do you want to buy some Girl Scout cookies? No. Would you like to round up? No. That's how his game face is. He come in pulling. Assassin, playing defense, crazy demeanor. And by the way, let's talk about this dude. This dude, now listen, let me know if you know what I know. If you watching basketball, you gotta see this and you'd have heard this. Sam Merrill is playing his tail off. And it's not because he has the quickest trigger finger in the game. It's because he is a underrated defender now. When did you step your defender game up, Sam? He's gritty. He looked like he got tired of people switching off on him. Don't you put me in a pick and roll and act like I'm defenseless over here. Don't you ain't about to have me doing the little, oh, you small. No, he's moving his feet. He's gritty. He ain't gonna let you post him like that. I said, this is what I'm talking about. When you got Max Strus done put the headband on. That headband don't come off, by the way. I think it's sewn on. I seen him with that headband on at the store. I'm like, he was at Mark's with the headband on. But let's get back to it. This is why the Cavs are great right now. 1,200 people in here, wherever you at. I need that like button and share button. Let's get it going.
It's a franchise record. The previous being 15 that the team had set in the first 15 games of the season. It is just unbelievable.
Sometimes it just elevates us even further. We lose nothing. And like I say, sometimes the plus-minus goes through the roof because the bench just responds. DeAndre Hunter came in was just fantastic. Sam Merrill made big shot after big shot after big shot. I mean, Ty Jerome was phenomenal with the basketball. And so you get to see that. And Kenny Atkinson's just sitting back like the puppet master, you know, pulling the strings on all these guys and putting different people in different positions to be successful. And the supporting roles were just phenomenal tonight, and they've been that way all season long.
Just look at the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, they speak for themselves. Javonte Green, once again, gets meaningful minutes, and that pays dividends as well.
It is, and Sam Merrill, big shot after big shot. DeAndre Hunter, his aggressiveness, and Ty Jerome got a little rest, got those legs fresh, came back, and just absolutely took it to Memphis.
We talked about
Austin,
this.
they talked about the depth of this team and the bench in particular, but how about the ball movement? Everyone getting involved.
Before we get to that ball movement, man, that's nasty work, man. I'm just over here shaking my head, bro. If you gonna get that from Sam Merrill and Ty Jerome, Isaac Okoro played great defense last night. You know, Jared Allen, you know, if you gonna get that, you're not beating the Cavs. I'm sorry. If you're gonna listen, if they get that, chalk it up. Chalk it up. Y'all might as well go. If they get anywhere near that performance, and it's not like they ain't been doing this every single game. They basically went in here with a team that is a contender in the West and used the backups to smack them up. It's crazy.
Regardless of whether it's the starters or that second unit, the Cavaliers finishing with 32 assists on 44 made field goals. 8 different Cavaliers had multiple assists here tonight. What allowed for such movement on and off the ball tonight?
It's called playing without the ball. The Cavaliers have gotten themselves a bunch of guys who understand how to play without the ball.
Yeah, this team is so unselfish. We saw that here tonight. Again, 32 assists on 44 made field goals. Cavaliers shooting 50% from the floor and knocking down 19 triples as well. Just a total team effort and dominant from start to finish.
Yeah, man. Good luck with these fellas. Good luck with them. Good luck. I'm telling you, you know, when you get that type of production, Darius Garland, Kenny Atkinson, man, and listen, they even pulling Javonte Green. I was like, where's Javonte? Javonte Green sounds like an edge rusher from Ole Miss, bro. Javonte Green sounds like like a slot receiver for Texas Tech. Like he out here cooking. He cooking. This is what happens when listen, I'm old enough. I've watched the Bulls. I've watched the Spurs. I've watched the Denver Nuggets of a couple of years ago. When teams like this get real nice and boring and they just work like an Oreo machine, actually, to be truthful, the Cavs, when you talking business, the Cavs get boring. Cavs get boring because they be so doggone good. I saw the way that the Miami Heat used to rotate the basketball. You'd be like, man, everybody's open. Shane Battier and Norris Cole's killing us. I didn't see when you get to the Spurs and you got, it don't even be Manu. It'd be Tiago Splitter. I'm like, when is Split? Boris Diaw was killing you, bro. Like, you get to that point and the Cavs is right there. But somebody mentioned something a little bit earlier. And I'm going to show this clip a little bit too. Dan Patrick, shout out to him. That was courtesy of Dan Patrick. The last clip was courtesy of the Cavs and FanDuel Sports Network. I want to talk about what Dan Patrick said. He is now in Cavaliers corner. He is now in a place where he now understands that the Cavs are a historically great team too. And I think it's time, regardless of what they do in the playoffs, we talking now. I think we have to stop doing that. As Cavs fans, you can let it, if the what's the name media want to talk about it, that's great. If the national media want to say, but it's just a regular season, I ain't on that. Listen, I'm a Cavs fan. I'm gonna enjoy every part of this, all of it. And I'm going to remember this team. People, nobody will remember your team if you don't win a champ. Are you crazy? Speak for yourself. I remember the 73-win Warriors. I remember the 66-12 win Cavs. And I'm going to sure as heck remember this squad. Dan Patrick makes a very interesting observation about the way we take a look at our sports teams.
Are getting too good for the Cleveland Cavaliers are getting too good for shows, networks to avoid them. I mean, that's how good they've gotten, because I can guarantee you Mothership and Fox and anybody else is going, oh, they won again. They won again. They're 55-10. That's tied for the 5th best record through 65 games in NBA history. You have to cover them. Now, not exciting. I watch them. They're a really good team. They're a balanced team. I mean, that's not the kind of thing where you go, hey, tonight, the Cavaliers. All right. Hey, tune in for teamwork tonight. Watch the Cavaliers play both ends of the floor tonight on TNT. Yes, Seton.
Which is funny because it's kind of what critics of the NBA are always looking for. Where's the fundamentals? Where's the teamwork? All this individual ISO play, that's not the game I grew up watching.
So the Cavaliers, 55-10. The Warriors in 2015 went 59-6. The 1995 Bulls, love them, went 58-7. The Bulls in 96 went 56-9. The 76ers in 82 went 56-9. Those are the only teams who have had a better record through 65 games. And please don't do this. Please, if you're an analyst at a network or a radio show, don't say the following. Yeah, but what are they going to do in the postseason? This is about the regular season. If that's the case, do we go, yeah, Shai Gilgeous MVP, but what's he going to do in the postseason? First NBA team to have multiple winning streaks of 15 or more games in a season since the 06 Phoenix Suns. They're that good that you have to cover them, which is kind of interesting. But I enjoy watching them. If you're going to talk about Shai Gilgeous, you got to give him the MVP because he's playing on the team with the best record in the West. Then you have to have consideration for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is the best player on the team with the best record in the NBA. He's not going to win. He's probably going to get a ton of third-place votes. It'll be SGA, then it'll be Joker, and then it'll be Donovan Mitchell. Just be fair. Cover the sports. Just be fair occasionally and acknowledge some of these sports that they're not going to, make the headlines here. They're not a ratings draw, but our job is still to cover sports. We may go, once again, I was there for a couple of the Spurs NBA championships. And I can tell you there was an audible groan when, got to go to San Antonio again. You still saw one of the greatest teams in NBA history. I mean, with David and Tim, Manu, Tony, Sean Elliott, one of the greatest coaches in history, but it wasn't exciting. We'd rather see a team that is more exciting, not as good, and maybe they don't win a championship, but boy, they were fun to watch.
That is courtesy of Dan Patrick Show. I couldn't have said it better. Hey, come on, fellas. It's time to it's time to give it up. It's time to give it up. And listen, I'm a 2016 guy. Kyrie, LeBron coming back from 3-1. As far as regular season teams go, you got to put this team right up there. Got to. And some people might say even better because of the depth, because of the consistency, and because of the way that they are actually doing it. And a coach's first, it's crazy. You gotta almost put them in there. And obviously we know what it is in the playoffs, but for me, I'm going to enjoy the regular season. I'm enjoying every one of these wins, losses. Listen, are you serious? These dudes is still only got 10 losses. That is wild to me. Let's get to some of your comments. I know y'all want to, we're going to get to talking Browns and we're going to do our thing, man. RMAC Dog, man, I appreciate the super chat as well. Let me pull this down so I can see give y'all flowers. Resting Mitchell to get Darius going, let him know. You notice that Darius Garland prior to these last couple of games, he was in a little bit of a slump. And I think they sat Donovan down. They gave Ty Jerome and his BFF Hunter, DeAndre Hunter, some time off a little bit. They've been spurting on and off with Evan Mobley, and the only reason they haven't given Jaron Allen any nights off is because he wants to play all 82 games. And that's a personal thing that he's been wanting to do. He's been public about that. So for me, they've been getting guys rest as they come in. And the cool thing about it is when young dudes come in, Sam Merrill and Ty Jerome, they're looking forward to the minutes. They're looking for Isaac Okoro. They're looking forward to those minutes. Javonte Green is getting minutes. So guys are looking for a lot of minutes, man. They're looking for it, and they're being rewarded. Being rewarded. Let's see. DDG says Boston Cavs going 7 in each conference finals will be epic. Forget Boston, for God's sakes. It will be a dogfight. y'all anteing up already. If this was the Warriors, I'm telling you, this is the Warriors. This is the prelude that we saw with the Warriors when they had the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green. This is it. When you go back and listen to Draymond Green early in the season, he played the Cavs. He said, listen, this is the closest thing I've ever seen to a team do what we used to do to people. It's demoralizing. Everybody is hitting. Everybody. And by the way, everybody got the green light. No drama here with the Cavs. Nothing to see here. Hey, shout out to South Euclid. You noticed that too, Lawrence? You noticed that too? Shout out to that, man. We over here. Yes, sir. Let me see. Let me get a couple more. Kid Wilson, 33. I'd rather have two great players than one elite player in Myles. Myles is overrated, not a game changer when it comes to making plays that count. Listen, I've already said this a few times when they go dip back to Myles Garrett. The Cleveland Browns don't have a Myles Garrett problem. They have a quarterback problem. And until the Cleveland Browns can solve the quarterback issue and solve the quarterback and find one, we will continue to put all of our eggs in things that don't really equate to anything, like defensive linemen and tackles and D tackles. I tell people all the time, it's a nice thing to have. You want D tackles or defensive ends, it's a nice thing to have if you already have a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, there is no use in talking yourself into saying, I got this defense and nobody's going to stop. You crazy? Good luck having no offense trying to beat Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Herbert, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud. Listen, who am I? Patrick Mahomes. I could keep going on. You know names. You know this is the greatest hits. It's the greatest hits. Boris Diaw used to kill people, man. He, not literally. I mean, he used to really do. You got to watch the algorithm. They be playing around. I know. Cavs team with players who national media consider regular dudes, analysts, those people who are looking for it while driving knowing that they messed up. Man, Cavs Warriors in the finals, book it? Nah. Warriors ain't make it to the finals. Let's see. Cavs Nuggets finals. Everybody, y'all got your finals ready to go? Y'all done got the Celtics up out of here like that? Ron Bishop, we thank you so much for the super chat as always, man. We appreciate all of your super chats. 1,385 people is watching me all around the internet right now. If you're on Facebook, we say thank you. Make sure you share on Facebook, like as well. If you're on Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter. The best follow in the game, man. I don't even make you get up and move. You can watch it right on my profile, what you're doing right now. Just give me a like. I appreciate it. And then obviously on UCSS page and on the barbershop page, we appreciate you guys on YouTube. We're going to continue to keep it moving. I got a couple more things that I really want to get to. Let's get to this. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. Go back and forth, make sure everybody is entertained. Y'all want to talk a little football? Y'all want to talk a little football? Kenny Pickett, the next franchise quarterback of your Cleveland Browns. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, man. This is getting very interesting. Now, there's a lot of national guys and local guys having to walk things back because that's what happens when you come from another team and we say, Kenny Pickett with the small hands, with 2 gloves. We didn't like you, Kenny. I'm sorry. You played for you got drafted by the Steelers. We wanted no parts of you, and we thought you were garbage. There's half of our commentary that still thinks you're not very good. But I'll say this. Pickett is better than DTR. All right? I'll give you that. Am I going to say that Kenny Pickett is the truth? Am I going to say that Kenny Pickett is a starter? Am I even going to say Kenny Pickett is going to be a long-term answer? No. I think Kenny Pickett is a transition into a room that Kevin Stefanski wants to unleash his playbook on. I'll say that. And the demeanor in the room needs to be different. So I'll say this. When you take a look at what Deshaun Watson was, you take a look at what Baker Mayfield was, you take a look at some of the guys that they had in the locker room, even Jameis Winston, they're kind of eccentric. Guys that have some, quirky personalities, outspoken, some of the different things they like to do. DTR liked to dress. He had that gear on. His drip was crazy. Jameis Winston was known for his pregame speeches and the way he went about talking and this preacher-esque, just vocabulary. And I think Kevin Stefanski is a person, he tries to mold and tries to adapt and tries to be inclusive for everybody. But I think one of the things Kevin Stefanski said is, listen, if I'm going down with the way I want to do it. And that's from top to bottom. What I want in my quarterback room, I want guys that's going to keep it bored. I want to hear. I want a medium. I don't want y'all talking too much. We're going to run this play action. We want you to be cerebral. We want you to be right down the line, and that's how I'm looking for it. And trust me, ain't nothing wrong with that. I've always said this one thing. I'm critical of Kevin Stefanski when it comes to a lot of different things. But as far as I'm concerned, you got 1 year. I don't care if you got Kenny Pickett. If you like Kenny Pickett and you thought he was going to be good, bring him in. You know why? Because you got 1 year to make this work. You got one year to give yourself some more time. And if you're going to be comfortable with Kenny Pickett, you think that he's going to be a guy that could come in and deliver if he called upon, then so be it. Played for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's seen some stuff over here. Does that mean he's going to be able to come out and just ball out and be that guy? Not necessarily. But at the end of the day, it helps to be around a winner. It helps to be around something that's successful. There's something to be said for that. So I got no problem with Kenny Pickett, but here's my thing. I want to ask you, what you think they told Kenny Pickett? Because this crazy for me. You ever be in a relationship and one person think they in a relationship and the other one don't? You ever think one person be like, I thought we was exclusive. I thought we was together. You're like, we just kicking it. Can I meet your mom? She's sick right now. What do you mean she's sick right now? You were just talking to her the other day. She sounded fine. You said she was on vacation. She got sick at vacation. You see where I'm going with it. What did the Browns tell Kenny Pickett? Because this dude really seems like they done told him that he might be in a committed relationship and he might have a chance. You tell me what you think. Let me load this up right quick. Because I heard this and was like, oh, you think you might get you some minutes, huh, Kenny?
The name of the game in this league is winning, and you've done that. You're 15-10 as a starter in the National Football League. Does that kind of fuel you and say, hey, man, there are plenty of people out there that have not had the success, haven't put on tape what I put on tape. I want another crack at it. I am a starter in this league.
Yeah, I do. I do believe that, and I think this is a great team to continue to add to that and win some games here. So there's a lot of talent.
Whoa! Hold on. Let me bring that back. You said that kind of quick and confidently, Kenny. You got your mullet working. You got the party in the back working with the Browns hat on, the crispy lids, Browns football. I don't know. Where did you get that from? I need that hat, by the way. Let me know where you found it. But you're not going to just move that past G. Bush. What did you say?
The name of the game in this league is winning, and you've done that. You're 15-10 as a starter in the National Football League. Does that kind of fuel you and say, hey, man, there are plenty of people out there that have not had the success, haven't put on tape what I put on tape. I want another crack at it. I am a starter in this league.
Yeah, I do. I do believe that, and I think this is a great team to continue to add to that and win some games here. So there's a lot of talent, a lot of great football players here, a lot of great coaches. So I'm excited to learn the system and get going.
Was it helpful, do you think, for your development to go to a place like Philly that obviously had the success that it had, be behind a quarterback who has had the success that Jalen has had in this league, be around Saquon and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Goddard and that great line, and kind of just be able to see things maybe from a different perspective and work on maybe little things that when you're constantly thrown in the fire, you don't get the chance to really work on as much?
Yeah, I think it was huge. Having a chance to join that team, that franchise, and see how it's run from the top down, really. Getting to be, a full season with those caliber of players and seeing how they go about their business definitely only helped me in my career.
What do you think is kind of the biggest thing that you learned while you're in Philly, or the biggest thing you'll take and you want to be able to show on the field here?
Yeah, I think team culture, and I think a lot of people look for other things in the NFL because obviously it's the NFL. It's a different game a little bit, right? Guys are bigger, faster, stronger, but the core values of football still hold true, at the NFL level. And I think that was like the heartbeat of the team, was the culture of the team. Seeing how everybody cared about one another, how hard every guy played. I think that's why we got to where we got to.
Have you talked to maybe some of the other guys around the league that are in a similar situation to you? Because it kind of feels like we're in almost a renaissance period, right? Of first-round quarterbacks who maybe it didn't work out, go somewhere, they back up for a year. Sam Darnold's a backup with the 49ers for a year, and then goes and all of a sudden, that's where it is. Is there something to that? I don't know if you've talked to any of those guys who have similar experiences, but maybe that year of learning where you're not necessarily your head spinning because you're having to play every Sunday, but you're just kind of learning, growing, and then now ready for that next opportunity.
Yeah, I think that goes a long way. I got a chance to train with Geno Smith down in Florida for a little bit. I'm going to head back down there and get some more work with him, but just talking to him and have so much respect for his journey and what he went through. And he just stayed at it and he works hard. So he's a guy that I feel like we're pretty like-minded in how we train, so we get along really well. And just being able a chance to watch him work every day, bounce things off of him and his career and what he's been through. He's a great guy, so he's one of the guys that I've definitely been able to talk to this offseason.
What's one thing you want, or two things, as many as you want actually, that you want Browns fans to know about Kenny Pickett, the quarterback? And I'll ask you about Kenny Pickett, the man, in a second.
Yeah, just I'll do anything to win. I think that's probably the number one criteria. You talked about adversity and being in different situations. When I step between the lines, I will put it on the line to go win. So that's the one guarantee that I'll bring.
What do you want them to know about Kenny Pickett, the man?
I just try to be the best person I can be, man. It's not hard to be a good guy. I think you got to go out of your way to be a bad guy. I want to embrace the city, embrace the fans, embrace the people in this building, treat everybody the right way, and usually things work out in your favor.
We're excited to see you get assimilated into this offense, get to work with Coach Stefanski, Coach Reese, and Bill Musgrave, and see what you can do here now that you're a Cleveland Brown. So we're thrilled to have you. Welcome, and hopefully this is the start of something special.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, listen. They gave him the introductory press conference. They sent Nathan Zegura out there. Gave him that 5-minute freshen up. And they traded some capital. They traded a little 5th-round pick for him. I mean, he was sounding mighty confident. I mean, what was they telling him when they signed him? When they traded for him, what did they tell him? Because right now, there's Kenny Pickett. We'll get to Russell Wilson. He had a visit last week, too. You let me know what's going on. Is this thing trending towards they might not be getting no quarterback in the draft? Because when he talked about, I was told I had an opportunity to compete for the starting role. Oh, why would you say that? When you know the Cleveland Browns got a number 2 overall pick, Myles Garrett the other day. I was going to put the clip in, but I decided I could paraphrase. Andrew Siciliano asked him straight point blank, you know, are they drafting a quarterback? Yeah, I know who they taking. He didn't say draft. He said, do you know what the Browns' plan is at quarterback? And Myles Garrett said, yep, I know exactly what it is. He's like, can you tell him? I can't tell you that. That's wild. So right now, we're going to talk about this. I don't know. This is the first time that I've been wavering on whether or not they're going to take a quarterback at 2. This is the only time. And it don't really got nothing to do with Pickett. I mean, it kind of does. I still think he's a backup. I think when people say, I'm going to give you an opportunity to compete, that's a nice way of saying you better come in and ball, and if somebody get hurt, you might get that job. But here's the thing. It's the cumulative effect. It's this and the Russ move. If you bring in a Russ, which, by the way, I think there's some other ulterior motives by his camp too. You telling me you got Russ and Pickett? I mean, that is not the most mentory position for a young quarterback to be in. A veteran who's done a lot, that won the Super Bowl in this league, and another guy that's a young veteran that's on his 5th year of his rookie deal and trying to get back into the league and become a starter. That's not the best place to really wrap your arms around nobody. What do you guys think? Let's get to your comments. Let me get to the comments here. What's up? There we go. Our Bishop says, D Green looks like and play like 100 hood dudes. Tommy Shepard 2.0. You right. Hey, listen, Green, he's definitely saying Southeast Community Center All-American. He's the dude that be in the gym. He's the dude that hoop in jean shorts. Like 2 big jean shorts too. And a pair of unzipped Allen Iversons. We appreciate the super chat though. Let's get down to what are we doing? Let's get to this quarterback situation. Let me see. Master Mosh says, man, nobody can get behind mediocrity. If we wrong, we wrong. But the fact that this is accepted is questionable for people who claim they want to build and winning teams. Winners do not accept mediocrity. I was surprised when they traded some picks for Kenny Pickett. I was very surprised. Man. Buckeye guy says, get Wilson as a starter, Pickett as a backup, and keep Zappy for 3rd string. I think Zappy already signed with the Chiefs, I think. No days off. Still the best handle in all of the game. No days off. It sounds like they're going to take a quarterback later in the draft, maybe Melrose, Jalen Melrose, or the Louisville quarterback, and seeing how things play out. Better class next year if needed. Let's see. You said it. Stefanski and Brown got 1 more year. Yep, crazy. After Myles said it, I'm wondering if Myles really did have a private sit down with Haslam off the books and nobody knew about it. He might have. Here's my thought process. Bear with me. Y'all, if you reading this long version, put it in the comment section. I'm sitting here telling y'all right now. People don't want to hear this, but Andrew Barry and Stefanski, they don't sound like they're on the hot seat. And listen, I'm gonna be and if you hear this, I need y'all all to tell people where you heard it here first. Don't let them steal this quote. Don't let them steal it, because this is new. I ain't heard nobody say this. From all things that are planning out right now, I feel like the Haslams, were the people who wanted Deshaun Watson. I think the Haslams pushed it, and Andrew Barry and Kevin Stefanski was like, all right, we'll go along with it, dog, but we don't feel that's fair if it just don't work out, that come back on us. And when he signed the deal, he said, if it don't work, I'll take the blame for it. Don't even worry about it. Y'all good with me. Gave him the extensions. I believe before the season, he said, you better do everything you can do to make it work. Because obviously, the Haslams wanted to work. when the injuries came down the pipeline and he tore his Achilles heel, the whole booing stuff happened. They went back to Jimmy, and Jimmy said, you know what? That was on us. Haslam said that was on us. We'll figure it out. He said, all right, well, listen, if you want to move back to what you guys want to move back to, go ahead. Get your coordinator. So they fired Dorsey. They went and got the guys. He said, I like Tommy Reese. And, they did the thing with the coaching staff and got the offensive line coach up out of here. And then when it came to the Myles Garrett situation, the Haslams was a 1,000% with Andrew Berry. A guy on the hot seat does not get the opportunity to negotiate with a player that is a Hall of Fame talent that wants to leave. Do you think that a lame duck GM would have got the opportunity to even negotiate that deal? No. If he was a lame duck GM and Myles Garrett is such an asset, Jimmy Haslam would have took the meeting. He would have took the meeting and said, no, I'm not leaving that up to you. I got to make sure this is done correctly because he might be here after you, Andrew. What did he tell him? Nope, get it done with Andrew Barrett. Then they go to the quarterbacks, right? So they get to the quarterbacks and he trades a 5th round pick for Pickett. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he's the 3rd string. Maybe that's the guy they want to move with 3rd string, whatever the case, camp on. Then you get to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is on the visit. And I'm like, what? Russell Wilson is on the visit. Like, that don't make no sense. That dude, he was never an equation for no Browns fans. All the quarterbacks went off the board. They're going off the board, flying off the board. They look like they didn't want Flacco. They look like they was never interested in Winston. They didn't want Jacoby Brissett back. Zappy, all those guys, all of them is off the books. And if they do sign Russell Wilson, and you got the veteran, and you got another backup that I don't know necessarily does that bode well for taking Shedeur Sanders or taking Cam Ward and putting him in between two guys that A, want to extend their career and B, get their career off the ground. So the only thing that I could come up with and the only thing that I could look in my crystal ball and say is maybe these dudes ain't on the hot seat. Maybe it don't matter if they don't play very well this year because they've already given them the pass. Because Stefanski and Barry had nothing to do with the L they took. So that resets a lot of things. Because if they was under fire, they would probably just take the young quarterback and hope. This don't seem like a young quarterback and hope draft. This seemed like they trying to get Russell Wilson and get them 8-9 wins. They look like they may try to draft him a Travis Hunter and put him with Jerry Jeudy and maybe go get Brandon Ayuk, and all of a sudden Myles Garrett saying, well, look, I could do something with Bitonio back, and while you at it, go get me Nick Chubb back. That now starts to look at it as a Russell Wilson, Travis Hunter, Jerry Jeudy, Joe Bitonio, Myles Garrett is back. They got the kid from Tampa Bay who looked like he could be something, and you bring Nick Chubb back. All of a sudden, you ain't looking so bad. Maybe it's just me. You tell me if I'm tripping. 1,600 people hit that like button. Exactly, G. Haslam's forced their hand, and now they finally being given freedom to do it their way. Let's see what they do. It's starting to look that way to me. Ooh, it's starting to look that way. Watson deal wasn't a bad deal at the time. Watson was the same conversation as Mahomes. And blaming Watson for no run game, bad protection, and drops and penalties is dumb. I've always said this. For people that the Deshaun Watson deal, that when people say in hindsight, it's the worst trade in history. At the time, you guys are looking at hindsight. At the time, he was mentioned with Mahomes as one of the best in the league. At the time, listen, and I'm never going to fault an owner for being aggressive. If you want, listen, I didn't fault Kobe Altman for the Cavs. The Cavs had the same great record. They had George Niang and Karis LeVert. You know what they did? with George Niang and Karis LeVert. They traded him for DeAndre Hunter. And guess what the Cavs look like? Juggernauts now. Look like juggernauts now. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's see. The life. I like that. I like that hashtag too. I like that name. Exactly. These moves look like their jobs are safe for another 2 to 3 years. They drafted a quarterback in 25 or 26, 25 to build the core. Hey. Telling you, man. Let's keep it pushing. Very, 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 very interesting. Very interesting. Let's continue going. I got some other stuff to get to. Want to make sure I can get to it. One of the things that that happened since we've been, moving around is Russell Wilson. Let's give you an update on what's up with Russell Wilson. He visited the Giants, but left without a contract. So the 10-time Pro Bowler is still a free agent. So first big story after the official start of the new league year was Russell Wilson embarking on a free agent tour. Wilson met with the Browns on Thursday and the Giants on Friday, but left both facilities without a contract, according to NBC Sports. Wilson is a free agent after spending 2024 season with the Steelers, who have reportedly made a contract offer to Aaron Rodgers. The Giants have also made an offer to Rodgers, who is still trying to figure out what he will do this season. If Rodgers doesn't pan out, the Giants could turn the 36-year-old Wilson, who won 6 of his first 7 starts with the Steelers before he and the team finished the 2024 season on a 5-game losing streak. Wilson was named to his 10th Pro Bowl last season after throwing 16 touchdowns against just 5 interceptions in 11 regular season games. Let's take a look at this. There's a little more of this article. I'll put this in here too. If Rodgers doesn't pan out, the Giants could turn over the we read that already. Wilson, he didn't play that bad. I think, especially in the playoff game. But he wasn't to a level where you think you can compete with. Wilson's highlights last year included throwing a game-winning touchdown pass to Mike Williams at the end of Pittsburgh's Week 10 win over the Commanders. 3 weeks later, he threw for 414 yards, the second highest total of his career, and 3 touchdowns while leading Steelers to a road win over the Bengals. Wilson's numbers in Pittsburgh's wildcard playoff loss to the Ravens were solid, as he went 20 of 29, 270 yards with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But he was sacked 3 times and was a non-factor on the ground, or with just 6 yards on the 3 carries. I mean, that's still pretty good numbers. 20 of 29, 270, 2 touchdowns is pretty good numbers. He may not be a long-term solution, but Wilson could serve as a temporary option until the Giants find their long-term starter. If in New York, Wilson will get complimented by a solid receiving core led by Malik Neighbors. Now, let's take a look at in my thoughts on why it is that this is kind of funny for me, because I believe. I think this is a little more of a smokescreen. Would I take Russell Wilson as a starter? At this point, yeah. I don't think you have any other choices. Look at the choices out there. I think Russell didn't play extremely poorly for the Steelers. Is he that guy that can lead you to get you some playoffs to the playoffs? Sure. I don't think he can lead you to a championship anymore. But if you ask me who I want to start, Pickett or Russell Wilson, give me Russ. And I think he does some of the things that Kevin Stefanski would like. I think he doesn't turn the ball over that much. I think he's cautious with the football. He can run play action stuff. He's a veteran. He's a smart guy. He'll pick it up quickly. But the problem is, I think Russell Wilson wants to be in New York, right? So he would like to be in New York, right? So I think he used the Browns as an opportunity to show other teams, hey, I got some looks out here. I went to the Browns. I visited with them. But I think ultimately, if you look at the position and what Russ is, Russ has a superstar wife. He lives a superstar life. He wants to be in the mix. He likes the limelight, likes the spotlight, loves the media. What better opportunity to be able to go to New York and have Malik Neighbors as your quarterback, or excuse me, as your wide receiver, and do that there. The problem is Aaron Rodgers is the number one choice for a lot of people. The Steelers want Aaron Rodgers, so that pretty much says Russ ain't going back to Pittsburgh. That crosses that off the list. Aaron Rodgers is also the number one choice for the Giants. He just was in New York. He was already in New York. He lived with the Jets. So basically, Aaron Rodgers is going to get first pick. I think Aaron Rodgers eventually goes to the Giants, and then Russ looks around and tries to find a home after that. Now, for what the Browns want to do, I think that they're in a position where if Russ decides he wants to come, I think they'll make him a starter. And they'll go if they make him the starter, they're going to try to move and improve the roster around him. And moving and improving the roster around him means possibly not even no quarterback. They may look to get a quarterback round 3. But let me throw this out at you, and we'll put it in the comment section. If they go with the Russ route, I mean, could you really be too mad if they keep the pick and say, okay, give me Russ. Hey, I'm gonna draft 2 positions in one. I'm gonna get Travis Hunter. And we'll talk about Travis Hunter coming up a little bit. People forgot how good he is. I'm gonna get Travis Hunter. That means I'm gonna get a corner. That means I'm gonna get a receiver. And then when in round 2, I still have the ammunition. I can then say, okay, if Jackson Dart is sliding and I like him, I could take him. Or you could just say, listen, I'll wait to the 3rd round to get me a quarterback. I want to jump up and get one of these dynamic running backs. So give me Ashton Genty if he falls. Give me the kid out of North Carolina. Give me one of them Ohio State backs. Give me one of them dudes at the end of the 1st and jump back in so I can control that 5th year. Now you got a back of the future. And then I said, well, look, hey, Nick Chubb, I got some pennies. I got some coins for you, and I'm going to bring you back. Now we talking. You still could get your 3rd round quarterback somewhere. Maybe it's Curtis Rourke. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe Jalen Milroe is still hanging around, and you want to package it. It's a lot of things you can do. But right now, as we get it kicking and as we look at this thing, would you be mad at that? Let me know. Let's get to the comments. Would you be mad at that? By the way, we forgot about the Kirk Cousins thing. We're going to find out a lot about Kirk this weekend because they said he could be released. Zach Jackson and the Athletics, they could be released this weekend. But it looks like the Falcons is playing hardball with him. Wilson and Pickett and Browns. What? Yeah, I know. It sounds like an alternate universe, doesn't it, brother? Sound like alternate universe. Whoa. Man, let's get there. Yeah, John, but Haslam show bad judgment like not firing AB. Don't sound like you're getting fired, man. Now, by the way, Haslam could wake up tomorrow and they could be 2-something and he could get fired. Don't act like this is like it's written in stone. Let's see. Peg J78 says Winston all day, baby, threw 500 yards against Bo Nix. It looked like they don't like Jameis Winston like that. I just hope the Browns will be competitive this season and be a wild card team, even if we have an elite defense and effective offense. I'm kind of with you, man. I really would like just an explosive offense. If you got me Travis Hunter, I could at least watch the games and Russell Wilson, a competent offense. I just want to make Sundays fun again. That's all I want to do. I want a problem. Like this year, and I'm going to say this. before I get to the unless the Browns really screw it up, which may be like, oh, let's take a defensive tackle or a left tackle in the top 10. Unless they really, 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 really screw it up in the draft, you're not going to hear too many complaints from me. Because for me, I'm just evaluating what you do. If you're going to take Travis Hunter, and we're going to get to Travis Hunter in a second. If you're going to take Travis Hunter and you believe him at 2, by goodness, you better use him like you value him at 2. Don't get do not, and this is the thing that I've always had a problem. If you believe in a guy so much that you take him that high, believe in him enough to build a game plan and put him in the best position to make plays. If you believe in him that much, do not sit here and tell me, well, based on somebody else's thought process, I'm going to limit his ability. This is why you lose. All you baseball analytics guys could go jump in McCovey Cove, because you told people for years that Shohei Ohtani, that people would never, this is why pitchers don't hit. This is why pitchers don't hit. Listen, and then Shohei Ohtani came along. And if it wasn't for people that were innovative, creative, and had some gumption and heart and to be trailblazers, Shohei Ohtani wouldn't be the man that he is today. Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be the guy that he is. If you're going to have a transcendent player, do not put shackles on a transcendent guy. Shohei Ohtani will pitch, and he's better than that. Your pitchers. He's going to hit. He's better than your hitters. He's going to throw the ball from left field all the way to the plate, and his arm is stronger than everybody's. Stop telling me what used to happen, and it's just not possible. And listen, that's the reason you lose. There's a reason that winners win and losers lose, because winners is trying to be innovative. If you take Travis Hunter, do not have this man playing one way. I am telling you right now. Well, we try to keep his reps down. No, I need all the reps. Hey, Travis, we'll catch you on year 5. We'll limit your reps in year 5. But as for today, on this Cleveland Browns team, we're going to give you the ball every week. I take Wilson over the other vets, free agents out there. Russell's wife loves New York and the media too. I agree with that. Rate our $13 free agency. Sean McCarthy, draft Travis Hunter and some running backs. Hey, Russell Pickett, a rookie quarterback would improve. Would it be an improved room over we had? Sure would. Exactly. Quiet dude, I agree with you, G. When the Hasms didn't fire Barry and Stefanski, then I thought the Hasms wanted Watson and forced the offense change in 2024. Let's get to this. Let's talk. We got one more thing. We can fit in there. I appreciate y'all, man. For everybody that stood around 1,700 people in here, man, that's a testament to you guys showing me some love, and I appreciate that. We had a rough little quick start this morning, but we rebounded, got a lot of stuff and getting into it. So I want to make sure I get this last topic in for you guys. And it kind of flows into what I was saying. A stream of consciousness when it's talking about the Browns is like, okay, I've been on the quarterback train, but it kind of looks like a little bit where they may not necessarily go that route. So let me talk about this a little bit. I've been talking about Travis Hunter and some things right here, and there's a couple mock drafts that I want to get to and show you guys. And I think Travis Hunter is the forgotten prospect. I had to just go back in and watch how good he was. And I was talking to my brother Trent the other day, and we were just sitting there on the couch, and I said, man, what's wild is that if you would have went back to the beginning of the year when Travis Hunter was just dominating and we watched him play, the Cleveland Browns had expectations. We fully expected Deshaun Watson to bounce back. We had Chubb coming back. We know all the greatest hits. And we watched how Travis Hunter was dominating. We thought we were going to be contenders. So we thought we had no shot at Travis Hunter. So you're just watching Travis Hunter and be like, man, what a dog, man. this kid is special, man. Every single week, it's just special plays after special plays. And it's like, man, wouldn't it be great to get him? How wild would that be? And then lo and behold, after the season is over, the Browns is where we are today, and they fully are capable of drafting Travis Hunter. And I think sometimes we get to a point that we try to minimize greatness. We try to normalize greatness. And I'm gonna tell you what, people talk about generational talents, and Travis Hunter is the best prospect in this draft. I don't care what you're talking about. If you want, listen, if you want Micah Parsons or Abdul Carter, I keep trying to tell y'all, a defensive end ain't gonna win you nothing. And I played the position. I studied the position. And you have Myles Garrett. You're gonna affect a few plays a game. At most you're getting 20 sacks. You play 17 games. That's a play. All sacks aren't even created equal. You can get a sack for a 1 yard loss. Was that really impactful? But when you got somebody that has the ability that every time he touches that football, every time he gets his hands on that football, it could be a scoring opportunity. That's at receiver, at corner, and it's on special teams. And so for me, I had to go back and remind myself what it was. And this is a little mock draft. This was on First Things First. This is courtesy of First Things First. And they talked about exactly Travis Hunter being one of those guys that's falling down the board. And I'm like, man, I don't know how that's possible. Ain't no such thing as falling down the board with me. The dude is special, period. Period, point blank. Let's get to it.
You see the breakdown of offense to defense.
This was interesting, right? Because we just spent time talking about wide receiver for the Patriots. They have Gonzalez already, so you can make the case to put Gonzalez and Hunter together, and you have two great corners and sort of set on defense. And then again, have that 10 or 12 play package for him on offense. But they could view him as a wide receiver and just put him in there 1A and just let him, let him be your one. It wouldn't surprise me here at 4 if they went offensive lineman, but Travis Hunter he's really good. Like whenever you watch him play, go put on his highlights on YouTube. We're going to find them. When he catches that football, no one catches him in the football field. He was playing a different speed than everyone else.
Yeah, it's like Reggie Bush-esque.
Yes.
So this, again, if Travis Hunter had announced, I am only playing, I'm going to do this with both positions, wide receiver, he would be around a what pick to you?
I think he would be the second wide receiver.
Okay, and if he said, I'm only playing corner?
Probably second corner.
Okay, so here's the reason.
Those both high.
It's important to note that it is not, what I think some people are worried about is, am I getting a pretty good corner and a pretty good wide receiver, and you know what I mean, a guy who that is just not going to be elite at anything, but because he played so many snaps, that I agreed with your breakdown of it. I thought you might say cornerback 1 and wide receiver 2.
But here's the thing, if he played just corner and just focus all the attention on that every single game, maybe Will Johnson's just good at Michigan. It's not a slight on Travis. If Travis just played wide receiver, maybe again, the slim margin between him and McMillan and wide receiver is this, right? Him and Will, it's not like it's this big gulf between 1 and 2. But I think if he was just a corner, he would be.
But he still would be a consensus top half of the first round pick at just one position.
I think he'd be a top 7 player either position.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were just talking in the break about sort of institutional memory of teams. Why I love Travis with the Patriots, and Coach Mangini talks about Troy Brown doing both. Edelman came in as a quarterback. It's like, no, actually, you know what? You're going to be a kick returner. It's like, why don't you also play offense? And like, by the way, we need you on defense a little bit. The idea of just taking a football player. Do you like that idea for the Patriots, or just your overall drafting philosophy?
I like it, but the concern I have when you have someone like Travis Hunter is, again, it's a lot to digest to play 2 positions full-time. Kick returner and wide receiver, fine, right? But to play full-time corner and full-time, like you have a playbook. Like they're digital now, but I mean, they're this big, right? You have an entire offensive playbook, entire defensive playbook. I think it's easier to learn corner and play corner than give you a package of offensive plays rather than the other way around, where you practice wide receiver and go play corner. In Colorado, it appeared to me watching their offense that he did that. He played corner in practice because his route tree, where he lined up it did not vary very much. Now, the Colorado offense doesn't vary a lot anyways, but he basically just played on one side of the field for a game and ran his 3 or 4 routes. Very good, obviously. So I think that's what they did at Colorado, where he just played cornerback, but also then had a package of plays at wide receiver. It was remarkable what he did. I thought there was no chance he could play this many reps and be this good. Like it should happen.
Remarkable athlete.
It should not happen this way.
Yeah. I think what he's saying is an understatement. Travis Hunter is special. And Travis Hunter, to be honest with you, Travis Hunter, when you talk about you can have a small play, a package of plays, first and foremost, playing corner is all about instincts. Playing corner is all about instincts. And let me keep it real. Corners are out there doing their own thing. Corners don't need to get in the huddle. Corners is on the side. We don't even know what they're doing out there. When we meeting as a defense, corners don't even be in the room. All they do is talk to each other. They get to call separately. Safeties call out what they're going to call. Linebackers usually call out the front or whatever the case may be. And defensive ends don't need to hear anything either. Like, playing corner is not that difficult. It boils down to your instincts, your ball skills, and understanding what a receiver is trying to do in terms of running his splits. How do you recognize route recognition? All those simple things. It's only 6 coverages. I mean, it's only, you got cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, cover 5, some zone and man, cover 6. Like, you got these different variations, but it's not like this guy is going to be having thick playbooks like that. The playbook is like that for everybody as a defense, but for corners, come on. And by the way, this is the thing that irks me. He's been doing it his whole life. It's like saying, how does a dolphin swim that far? It's a dolphin. It's born to do that. Some people are just born to do certain things. Travis Hunter is born to play both ways. And the sooner you figure that out, the sooner more successful you be. Everybody's trying to pigeonhole, but what is he? This is our problem. This is our problem as humans, and we always have to put things into context. We always have to have groups and context for meanings of life. Sometimes you can't put a description or people or ideas in a box and package it. He's just good. He's better than anybody that you're going to have covering somebody, but he's better. He could turn around and run those same routes. When you talk about him training all season, he's been training for both since the beginning of time. And I'd rather take it from the greatest cornerback of all time, who also happened to play 2 ways, who also happened to play 2 sports, Coach Prime. I'll believe it from him than other people. And he says he's better than me when I was at that age. And this is a guy who played in a football game and came back and played in the World Series playing baseball. You know how crazy that is? You know how crazy your eye and your timing and how much of a great athlete you got to be to even get that off? And I'm gonna get up here and I'll play football games. I return kicks and I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna get to the playoffs in the World Series, and I'm gonna get up there against 90, 98 mile an hour fastballs and breaking pitches. Come on, man. But Travis Hunter, he's special. And as we start to look at these guys, I think a couple of things as we wrap this thing up, and we'll take some of your comments as well. If you want to get in, you can still super chat. We'll get to those at the top. We'll make sure we read those first before we get out of here. 1,800 people all over the internet is here. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. But as we get down to the end of this situation, I want to throw something out there. We get to the point where free agency is still here. Draft is coming up. This is actually a very fun time for Cleveland Browns fans. Every organization is in a different life cycle. And sometimes when you are younger or you're at a different point in your life cycle, you enjoy certain things. At one point in time, I used to enjoy going to clubs. At one point in time, I used to go, and I still like shopping, but, I was a shopaholic. At some point in time, you want to be a homebody. I don't really, I go to different places and I like to get to the house. I don't do too much. You know what I'm saying? So everything is about in your life cycle and in your time and in the right timing. And the Browns' life cycle was competing for championships the last couple of years. The Browns' life cycle was we need to max out our potential. We need to go and find a free agent here or make it trades to be over the top to put us in contention. We swung for the fences with Deshaun Watson, didn't work out too well. We did a lot of 1-year deals with a lot of older players. That didn't work out well. So now we're at a point where now we're looking at a situation where, okay, we have a slight rebuild, but now we do have draft capital, number 2 overall pick, number 30-something overall pick. We do have some exciting players on the board that we could potentially take, like Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, or quarterbacks if they fall to us, Cam Moore, Shadir Sanders, right? And we do have some franchise, not franchise, but some veteran quarterbacks that you can see coming in and playing relatively well. So I think right now in our life cycle, it's going to be a very fun couple of months here. Some people may not, quite describe it as that, but I think it's a different life cycle where now the draft means something. Free agency is a little more fun. Guys with strategy, you might get a player that could be a two-way player, figuring out what Kevin Stefanski's offense is going to look like with this, that, and the third. Can Kenny Pickett get some minutes? Is Russell Wilson finished? All these things are going to be a great opportunity for us to have conversations like this about the Cleveland Browns, especially getting into as we move to the draft. Let's get to your comments, and we'll continue to work through this, man. We appreciate you. Our MacDowg, as always. G, would you like to see Hunter, since most of his Heisman Trophy winners have a decent enough career? Would you let him punt return, play DB, and third down receiver? I'm gonna let him play whatever he wants. I'm gonna let him play all of that. And the reason I'm gonna let him get into all of that is because I think that now, if you play him at receiver, Jerry Jeudy is better. If you play him at corner, Denzel Ward is better. Greg Newsome is better. Martin Emerson is better. We haven't had a kick returner since Josh Cribbs. We haven't had a kick return game. Our special teams are terrible. I got this kid on the field as much as possible. That's what I want to get to. And guess what? The best time to do that is when he's younger. You're not going to be using Travis Hunter in year 5 the same way you do in year 1. He's a veteran at that point. You want to keep him, save some reps. But as first year goes, my man is on the field. He's on that field. I ain't playing with you. Jimmy, what's up, my man? G. Bush, love some Hunter. Judy Pickens with the Boise State running back. Pickens got huge. AFC North hands. Pickens, Midwest guy, going to cook the Steelers. Let me see. AB said Hunter is a wide receiver. Yeah, he all that. Browns need playmakers. We sure do. He is special. Great at everything. They'll screw it up, man. Hey, Hunter good for 2 touchdowns a game. Hey, Travis Hunter, 6'1" at 185. Sauce Gardner, 6'3", 190. All right, well, let's see. Let's line it up. Skill position players need other positions to do their job. With the good D-line, corners are left out to dry. Wide receiver need a good quarterback. We have neither. We need to build the basics first. Now, Carlos, here's the thing. Here's a problem with your thought process. Well, they are getting a quarterback. They'll have a veteran quarterback. I think the quarterback room will be better than it was last year. Yes, they do need somebody to throw them the football. But at corner, you got to have pass rush. Listen, you have the best pass rusher in the game. At corner, you have Denzel Ward, who's one of the best cover corners in the game. So it's not like he's going to be like, what do you mean? Like he has on defense, he should be good depending, like at least on defense, he has infrastructure. And if you have a guy like Russell Wilson, who is, thrown for some yards in this league and he's not I would say he's not an over-the-top game changer, but you look at it, 20 of 29, 270, 2 touchdowns on the road against Baltimore. Listen, that's not bad quarterback play. Oh, no. Oh, no. Draft Graham? Why would I draft Mason Graham? Here's the reason and you know what? Here's the reason we get into this stuff. Mason Graham is a fine player, but just learn from what the Browns just did. The Browns just got rid of Dalvin Tomlinson. They had to cut him. Dalvin Tomlinson was the Browns' #1 free agent from a couple of years ago. Dalvin Tomlinson in his time here had 3 sacks. They all came against the Cardinals. You're talking about a defensive tackle that is going to affect one aspect of the game. That is stopping the run. You do not waste. Let me bring this back. You do not draft a defensive tackle at number 2 or anywhere in the top 10 unless you are getting Aaron Donald type players. You better get Warren Sapp. You better get John Randall. You better get guys that can not only rush the passer, stop the run, but be just dominating in the middle. Aaron Donald went like number 13. You're telling me you're going to get Mason Graham? And they had 2 good defensive tackles. Michigan, look, how many games Michigan lose last year? Okay. One more. All right, here we go. Keith McLaughlin, because it was all BS. Garrett has been exposed, just as Barry and Stefanski were last season. This was nothing more than a money grab when the money was always there. What else was there? Hey, man, he got paid. He did. He sure did get paid. One more. You should do this more on X. This format is dope. I'm picking up Wendy's hearing you, man. So yeah, if you guys are here, if you were watching on X, I'm here live on Saturday, every Saturday, 9 to 11. If you're on Facebook, hey, I put it on my profile page. Make sure you follow G Bush 91, Garrett Bush, right here on Facebook, man. I'm here every Saturday, 9 to 11. When you're on YouTube, UCSSF, if you like Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, you can subscribe. It'll pop up for you right there. And if you're right here on the YouTube channel for the Barbershop, we appreciate you guys. We're 15,000 strong on that. Over 50,000 strong on UCSS. We 25 strong on Twitter, and we rocking and roll with that 5 or 6 on Facebook. So we here. We try to make it very easy for you to pull up. Wherever you at, you can hear me. Make sure you spread this word. A lot of people say, G Bush, I love you on the radio. I don't hear you on Sunday. This is better. I ain't gonna lie. This is better. I can give you videos. I can do long format takes. I can, do a lot of things with audio and visual that I can't do on the radio. So make sure you spread the word. G Bush is still here. The Barbershop is still here, and we rocking and rolling. With that being said, man, you never know when your boy might show up. Radio, television, or internet. But if you want the fresh take, the fresh cut on sports, I'm your guy. I keep the Clippers with me. As always, we want to thank you and everybody else that stood around and hung out with me right here in the Barbershop. Have a great rest of your weekend. And as always, go Browns.